As a Kenyan, when you see an elephant has been killed, or a rhino has been killed, or any other animal, the pain that I feel myself as a police officer in the first place, intrinsic kind of pain, humanly speaking. We are the people who are charged with the security of this beautiful posterity of our country.
INTERPOL brings together all the police services and the forces in this region to make sure that this region is safe from threats of crime and especially transnational organized crime.
INTERPOL has a worldwide database spread across all the 194 member countries. There's also cooperation in terms of sharing criminal intelligence. That cooperation is purposely geared towards one goal: success in fighting a crime.
As a country, we depend in a big way in terms of our development on tourism. The tourism purely depends on the beauty of our environment. Environmental crime and wildlife crime is something which was not initially taken very importantly. It wasn't taken as one of the major crimes which are perpetrated against a country. It is now we are realizing the hospitals, the roads, the communities, development are actually proceeding from these animals. So it's now we are realizing the importance of the environment crime, the wildlife crime as a country. In most cases where we needed some specialized kind of attention, INTERPOL has been able to come on board, and because now of the specialized nature and the more advanced tools, we have been able to have criminals, international, being smoked out and recoveries of big magnitude. Coming together actually make sure that we make the environment of criminals absolutely hostile. Mombasa Port is the gateway of the Republic of Kenya to the entire world. And it is one port which the entire East and Central depend on.
The cartels, the smugglers, the criminal networks, they will want to penetrate through the cracks to sneak in an illicit or illegal shipment, hoping that because there are so many containers, we may overlook and disregard maybe a shipment and say we can only inspect so much. And we need to be ahead of the game. And we have put a lot of infrastructure to address that, to mitigate and deter that, to make it less attractive. This will not be a success without the support of INTERPOL and the global network they have to share and exchange information.
Whatever you declare has to be the true thing. If I get something else, then it is not going to be easy for them. Remove and arrange them nicely for verification. Put the side with the marks and numbers on top, like that. We may look for concealments, that's a narcotic. We may get even ivory, they can be there. The port of Mombasa is busy. It is a transshipment port, it is a transit port, it is an import port, it is an export port. So teamwork is a must. Enforcement, our DCI officers and all those parties, we complement one another. We can't do without each other.
The Kenya Revenue Authority, Kenya Ports Authority, Kenya Wildlife Services and other security agencies have seized 2 containers full of ivory which were declared as ceramics. And at least 40 ivory pieces had been counted from one of the containers, translating to 20 elephants killed.
My name is Mr. George Mutonya. I'm in charge of criminal investigations at the port of Mombasa. The concealment was done here. Then, after it is done, it was covered by the hood. 337 pieces. 337 pieces of ivory. Yeah, we've been working together to stop this happening and other criminal acts.
We come across a variety of crimes. Because what we have gathered along the way is that there's the interconnectivity of organized crimes globally.
This is another interception of rosewood timber. This is one of the most valuable indigenous tree to the market world is like gold.
The cartels that deal in illegal trade, they pretend to be exporting coffee or tea, and yet they conceal the goods inside those containers.
This is how the smugglers keep records, the numbers of the items inside the container. They have got their own language of knowing how many rosewood timbers are inside the container by encrypting on the door so that the recipients will be able to know the total number based on the records written on the door.
Our guiding doctrine is unity of purpose and unity of effort. As we rely also on the support of our international partners and other key agencies like INTERPOL to support us in these initiatives. If a shipment gets through, it is the image of the country which is soiled. When we cut them off here, we also curtail their trade in the destination country.
We would like to advise any criminal who thinks that he can use the port of Mombasa to rethink. Think again, because we will find you and we shall arrest you. Transnational organized crime knows no borders. And it is very important that countries in this region and the world over must work together. When you look at transnational organized crime, INTERPOL becomes very important for purposes of coordinating responses to such crimes.
We are checking this vehicle that has come from Tanzania. It is carrying some farm produce and some finished goods. All vehicles that come into the country are checked by all the government agencies here at the border to ensure that they are not only fit for purpose, but they also don't have illegal things in them. From a shipment like this, you might find ivory hidden inside the groundnuts. Our wildlife officers here have detained people with pangolin scales, 200 pieces from Tanzania. So it is something that can be gotten from such a consignment.
You cannot succeed in fighting crime alone. You need to come together so that you can share information on how to tackle that crime.
If there is anything of suspicion or crime has been reported, it brings officers from Kenya and the officers from Tanzania, and they build the teamwork.
At times, you know, if things like this happen and they know this is a Tanzanian who has committed this or it passed through Tanzania, it brings a very bad image to my country, you see. Yeah, it doesn't matter what uniform you have or which nation you are. Crime is a crime and a criminal is a criminal. Everybody should combat it and fight it anytime.
So this suitcase here was intercepted at the terminals with the passenger who was traveling to Lagos. Some drugs were found inside, concealed in the false bottom of the suitcase. More than 8 kilos of heroin was found. There were some footpads which were found. Footpads concealed in the handbags, in the false bottom of the handbags. And also heroin was also recovered from them. The people who are arrested normally will not even disclose who is the person behind it. You know, they don't say. It is him who you arrested him with the drugs. He's the one who carries the cross. These are just couriers. These are people who have just been sent, but they are people who are behind them. Because these are gangs. These are not just small people. You can be in drugs then to fund other organized crime. You can even be doing drug trafficking to fund terrorism, fund other crimes, other organized crimes. It's a big challenge. It's a big problem, global.
We have found a lot of interlinkage. To find one who we are actually accusing of organized crime, we are accusing him of drug trafficking, human trafficking, terrorism financing, other related crimes. So there is a lot of connection on the same. It's absolutely an enterprise. The players of the crime are more or less the same, who have perfected the game of the wildlife crime. If you see the actual poachers who go to the reserves and to the game parks, they are being used. They use cheap liver because it is an easy means of getting money.
What we have here, it's wire snares. They are used by poachers to trap wildlife, maybe for bushmeat. The animal comes and gets either its neck on those snares, on those wires. The wire gets tighter and tighter, the animal suffocates itself with the wire, or the animal gets itself on the limbs. Either the limbs are broken or the poacher comes and now kills because the animal has been maimed. It's a very crude way to catch wildlife animals. The agencies that we have there is the Kenyan National Police Service, Office of Director of Public Prosecution. So they will assist in when it comes to the prosecution of the suspect. They will take over the case. They will advise on what needs to be in the file for the suspect to be prosecuted and the case to be successful.
There are 2 rhino horns, part of recovery from Operation Thanta 2020, weighing about 1.2 kgs. We have not been able to establish where exactly they were poached from. Over the years, it has been a problem, but for the last few years, we've been managing. The numbers are quite low compared to the past. We have quite a number of rhinos in the parks, and we've put our men on the ground to ensure that the rhinos are protected at each and every time, day and night. Every name here is somebody who died, or who lost their lives on the line of duty. And every year it keeps growing. So we are always reviewing our ways, how we operate, so that we beat the criminals. We get them before they get us. It's always our motto.
In Kenya, we normally say our environment is our inheritance. If you don't conserve your environment, what will you hand over to your children?
It is now we are realizing how serious it is. And today, that's why you can see we are partnering with INTERPOL, other international agencies, to ensure they come on board and assist us in the best way they can, so that we can have the logistical capacity, the training capacity, even investigative capacity to ensure any international criminal, organized crime, to come and take advantage of our neighboring environment is absolutely extinguished, to ensure that the posterity of our environment, our wildlife, is maintained.
It is very important that these criminals are arrested and prosecuted and convicted to serve the longest imprisonment term possible, because that will be a deterrent to the would-be criminals who have or would like to commit similar crimes.